All right, good morning, all. Welcome in. It's House Edge Live with John from Casino Gaming TV. I've got to fix my camera here. It's in a weird spot. I bought a new camera, so it's one of these ones that kind of hangs out in front of your screen. So I have to move out of the way every day, so that when I bring it back down, it's always a little crooked. Anyway, good morning, happy Monday, everybody. We're gonna do a little bit of a test run this week again. So last week I was kind of play testing the idea of doing like a fact or fiction segment. This week I'm going to try a couple different segments as we go, and we talked a bit about this in the review of the ABCs of gambling, where I said, what do you want to? How do you want me to do this going forward? Because the ABCs can go ABCs of craps, roulette, blackjack, whatever. I can, and it would take forever, right? If I did 26 straight weeks of blackjack, you guys would probably kill me. And so somebody suggested doing ABCs once a week and change the game. So maybe like today, Monday, we'll make ABCs Mondays thing. And every Monday I'll do an ABC, and maybe we'll work through one game at a time or something. Or maybe I can do like, craps Monday, roulette Tuesday, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to try a little tiny short ABC segment today. I got some short segments set up for the rest of the week to kind of go through them. Let's see how we like them. And then what I may do is make every day show have an ABC segment, a truth or fiction state. You know what I mean? Like kind of like make the show more like that. So let's see how it feels this week. And just kind of, again, I just need your feedback in chat and comments. Let me know how y'all think about how it's going. So, all right. So jumping in, as you know, you don't, we do have volume. Okay, good. Jumping in, and I know it's boring, and I'm sorry, but I have to do it. I have to every day remind you of the ugly that why is the feed vertical, Joe? Joe wants to know the feed is vertical because I got two feeds going. My software puts out two feeds, a vertical one and a horizontal one. So the vertical one should have like a little phone icon on it. The horizontal one's regular. You can watch either one. The software is trying to figure out how to make the feed. I'm not sure if it's a software on my side or Google side, but it's trying to make the feed fit your screen. So if you're looking at it on your phone like this, you're gonna you're gonna get the vertical feed. If you switch your phone, you're gonna get the horizontal feed automatically. Like it's supposed to be this magical thing where it knows. Also, the horizontal ones will feed the shorts feed automatically too. So that's part of the reason why. Anyway, it's I know it's annoying. We're trying to work through it and get it figured out. Anyway, why does Joe, for example, fight to learn how to throw the dice every day and share the learnings with you, right? Why do I do this deep dives of stuff every day? Why does Jeremy put up a podcast every week? Why does David at Casino Quest put up all these videos, right? And if you watch beyond the innuendo, it's always about how not to get your ass handed to you, right? Because of this, right? The casinos are there to take it. That's it. They exist to take your money. We exist to help you not give it all up. That's the whole point, right? Now, you're not going to win every single time, obviously, but we're hoping to give you tools, bankroll management, risk tolerance, identification of opportunity, having discipline. Number one thing, discipline and money management, I believe, goals, and keeping yourself under control. Those things together, that's the tools we bring to the fight. That's what we've got. And it's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight. We don't have enough bankroll to compete. But if we obey, quote unquote, obey some of the laws of psychology and go against the grain of what the casino wants you to do, you have a chance of not getting destroyed. And that's kind of what I'm after here. So, all right. Heading into the week here. Our schedule looks like this, and I'll keep the reminders up every day. As things grow, this may become a scroll or multiple screens, but we know, you should know by now, Joe, Craftmaster Journey every day, right? 9 o'clock East, 6 o'clock Pacific, 10 after 1, which is the Casino Tiers Live. podcast. It goes every other Thursday. Last Thursday they went. This Thursday they're off. It's about a 3-hour show. It's dig in for that. It's a good one. He brings guests on and everything else. Full of Chips. They drop that thing at like 3:00 in the morning or something on Monday. So when I get up on Monday mornings at 6 to get ready for the show here, it's dropped about 2 hours ago. So I think I'm at the time wrong. I'll have to ask Chris what time what the real drop is. But I think their intent there is to get you to like have that podcast in your ear on the way to work on Monday. I think that's why they do it. I have to ask them. But that thing drops in the mornings on Mondays. And then Color Up, of course, goes on Sundays the night before. So night before you got Color Up live to watch. The morning after you get some Full of Chips on the way to work. So a couple of a good podcast there, right? There's always great information on these things, and they're great to just put on your headphones or put in your stereo. Good Lord, your car radio while you're going to work. Anyway, that's the baseline schedule. I know that Brian from Hawaii Crap Shooters goes live a lot. I know he does on Sundays, and there's others that do like a thing. I'll get them on here as well, so we don't forget to support our neighbors, right? Or the rest of the craps community. And speaking of the rest of the craps community, check this out. This came out last night. Big AZ hit the 10 million view mark yesterday, which is insane. Like I've got between this channel and the Casino Gaming TV, the old live channel, about 1.5 million views. He's got 10 million views on his videos. That's insanity. 10,000 subscribers. He's killing it. And the thing I love about Big AZ, and I can probably say this about most of us, right? Most of us, I was talking to Fran from 10 Ton about this. Most of us have this lane. We were talking about like the different kinds of YouTubers that are out there, and everybody's kind of got their thing. And it's why it's so hard for a new channel to come in and kind of take hold, because Jeremy's lane, for the most part, Color Up, is running strategies and testing them out. Ryan from Mark the Point is making inroads there, but they're basically strategy runners. And it's not like I have the best way. It's subscriber X gave me a thing. Let's give it a shot, right? That lane has been filled with a couple of pretty big cars, right? Joe is the guy and George is the guy that are every day throwing the dice, working their toss, logging their results, doing that. That's their lane, right? My lane obviously is teaching. Nobody's doing what I'm doing. Nobody, luckily for me, right? I'm the only guy doing this kind of a show. Big AZ really is the only guy doing like live play, like real live play. Like I know that Brian and a lot of guys like Jeff was doing this for a while with the Crapsy thing, but Big AZ like brings you on Zoom and there's 4 people playing and you're all doing, he's running all your bets. He's making a live game happen on you. If you haven't watched Big AZ, he's making a live game happen, dealing with 4 or 5 players at once, tournaments. It's fantastic, right? So good for him, man. 10,000 views or 10 million views is absolutely crazy number. So congratulations. I know he was really excited about it, and I wanted to give him, the big shout out, right? Very good. All right. What is next? Again, I'm going to try this out today. And again, bear with me as we do this. My intent is for what I'm about to do. I'm going to spend some more time on it probably than I should, but my intent is to do an ABC's kind of a thing every day. 1 letter, 1 game, 1 word. So it's a short little segment. So as I'm doing what I'm going to do today, let me know how this lands, because this could be part of every day's show. A little, good morning, the schedule, the buzz, the ABCs. We'll kind of run down the thing every day and let the show have some rhythm to it. So anyway, today what I want to get into is the ABCs of craps. And we'll do the letter A today. And I think, I could spend a year doing the ABCs of craps. There's so many things for every single letter. There's just so much to it, right? I got to pick something though. So what I'm going to pick today is this. We're going to work on the ATS. And I think the ATS is one of these things that, I don't know if I wouldn't call it controversial, but I would call it a thing. And what I mean by that is there are some people and good friends of ours, right, that we know, I'm not going to have to call names out. They swear by the ATS. This is it. The only way to win money in this game. The only way to win big money in craps is with the ATS. And that's true if you're hitting it. Okay. If you're hitting the ATS consistently more than you should, then yes, it's the only way to win in this game. I would 100% agree with that. Okay. However, you're not going to hit it more than you should. Unless you're super practiced and you can knock the numbers down all day long on your own, you're just not. And what I've seen too is people play the ATS and say, well, I don't play it on everybody. This is, I say this actually. I'm not going to play it. I'll play it when I throw, right? Because it's a little incentive for me and I get the dealers up there. But people will say, I don't play it on every throw, on every shooter. You should. If you're going to play it, play it. I think Jacob says this, right? If you're going to play it, play it. You can't cherry pick who's going to have a great roll because you just never know. And even Ed, who's a great shooter, will tell you a lot of times the random rollers, the pure huckers and chuckers, will get more ATSs because they're not setting. They're not locked into the box number pocket that most of us are. They're hitting random and horns and shit, right? They're the ones more likely to get there. So you can't just go and say, I'll just pick my spots. You can't pick your spots unless you're picking your team. So that to me is like myth number one about it. But here's the numbers on it. It's just so you can see the numbers. The tall or the small, the real probability is about 2.6%. So 1 out of every 39 or 40 people are going to hit it. Okay. Now remember, the old way of paying, and this is again getting into House Edge a little bit, but the old way that it paid was 35 to 1. 1 in 39 chance, 35 to 1. That feels an awful lot like roulette. It's basically a little bit better than roulette when you think about it the way that worked out. The all is hit about 1 out of every 200 shooters. Think about that, right? It pays now 150 to 1. When it paid 170 to 1, still wasn't great. 1 out of 200, effectively, you're getting paid 175. Now you're getting paid 150 on 1 out. Look at the numbers. Look at the House Edge. The House Edge, when it pays 150 to 1 on those tables, is 20.1%. 20%. The House Edge, when it pays 175 to 1, is more reasonable. It comes down to 7.5%. It still sucks, but it's not 20%, which is crazy town. And I think what happens is people just kind of get in rhythm and dump dough out there. I've said this before about blackjack, and there's a couple of games now in town. And when I say in town, I mean Vegas, downtown, where the side bet is required. And even on a $10 or $5 table, they're putting a $1 miracle side bet out there, whatever it is, blazing sevens or some bullshit. You got to play the dollar every single time. They make you play the dollar to play the blackjack game. Well, you're bleeding out every hour. They deal about 75 hands an hour. You're bleeding out about $1 every hand. You're bleeding out $75 an hour unless you happen to hit the damn thing. ATS runs in the same territory. If you're playing 555, which by the way, nowadays, even on a $5 or a $10 table, the minimum ATS is $5. Have you all noticed that? Is that just me? Or are we seeing less and less and less dollar ATSs? Now the dollar ATS is probably not worth it, but even on a $5 table, it's 555. So your $15 bleed, probably an average of, let's say 60 rolls an hour, maybe 8 to 10 shooters an hour. So every hour, you're probably bleeding out 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 555s with come out sevens and shooter changes. $150 an hour going away. Bye-bye. Trying for a miracle. It's crazy town, right? Again, unless you got a plan for it. Let me show you something. I'm going to switch my screen and show you something that I think is maybe a little bit interesting. Let's go to the browser view. And you should see it. Okay, there is a look at the ATS. Now I'm going to show you two versions of this, of the same spreadsheet here. So the first one is based on the actual numbers, okay, based on real probability. So this one here shows us on 1,000 come out rolls, not necessarily 1,000 shooters, but 1,000 come out rolls. You're going to see about 167 sevens. That's what you should see. That's the way the probabilities work, right? The horns, you'll see about 167 horn numbers, roughly. Okay. What happens is this: the first column is the ATS and the pass line. Some casinos force you to play the pass line. Another screw job, right? Not only is it 555, which the low roller shouldn't be playing, but they force the pass line on you. This chart just shows you the impact when they force the pass line on you. Okay, so the come out sevens, you lose, or you make nothing, because what happens is you're playing 555 and down here in a $15 pass line. You can see that's down here in the bottom. That 15 at the bottom is your pass line bet. So the come out sevens, you get nothing. You make zero money when you're normally making $15. The guy who's playing the ATS without the pass line, right, is losing that money. The guy that's playing the pass line only is making $2,500 on those come-outs. You see the difference there, right? So when you're playing just the ATS naked, you're losing your 555. There's no protection for it. But the horn numbers, you don't get beat on, where the pass line player gets beat on the horn numbers. So they're right at the end of that, they're effectively in the same spot, right? They each lose $2,500. Now, on the points made, the pass line player makes money. On the points missed, the pass line player loses $15,000 versus the other guy who only loses his ATS. Remember, when a point gets missed on a 7, the guy playing the ATS and the pass line loses both bets. He loses $15 on the pass line and $15 on the ATS. So it's double the dink on that, right? Now, when the small gets hit, of course, they both win the same money. So in the end, if you're playing the ATS and the pass line versus the ATS without the pass line, you're looking at losing twice as much money in the end, right? I think this number is actually wrong. But why is that number adding wrong? Isn't that weird? Hold on a second. Let me see something. That should be more money than that. This is going to be E6 to E12, right? 2,000 minus... Oh, yeah. And this one here's the same. It's because the points made. I wasn't counting for the points made. Sorry, that's my fault. I'm like looking at it going, wait a minute, what? This player does make money in the points made. This player does not. That's the other difference. So you can see the difference in there. So points made, of course, the pass line guy gets money. That's the difference. But look at, he loses $3,500 versus $1,000. If you're playing at the expected rate, right? If things happen as they should, right? You're 16% of your come out 7s and horns, and your ATS comes at the right rate, and you're playing. Now we can alter the values here, right? So some of you play big or tall, right? 5, 10, 5. Okay. And in that case, what happens is this: the pass line now starts costing you money because you're giving up $5 every time extra on the pass line. Your pass line player at $15. Now, if he goes to 20, it'll mitigate some of that. Okay. To cover it. So 5, 10, 5, $20 pass line. Now you've got your come out 7s are back to 0 again. All the same shit happens. But guess what? If you're playing the ATS without the pass line at a 5, 10, 5, you can optimize a little bit, and look at that, you come out ahead. There's a world in which the ATS with a bigger tall hit at the correct rate, 3.5 times out of 1,000, actually makes you a little bit of money. There's a world in where this works if you can survive all of this mess up in here. Now, what happens if the ATS, I gotta get this, why can't you see it? I guess that's fine. It's just weird that this, hold on. This is kind of stuff that drives me crazy. I got to get this there and spread out. I want you to see all the numbers. There we go. Okay. I'm going to switch tabs, and this is going to be an ATS actual. This is me logging throws on my daily shows. If you remember when I had my daily show, right? When I was doing dice tossing every single day, these are my actual numbers from those shows. Okay. Look at this. This is the reality. I'm not hitting it as often as I should, or I'm getting way less than I should here on these numbers. But this shows what it's like in the world. But look at this. If I was playing the pass line with my ATS, look up, I would have lost 70K. I would have lost 70K. That's a lot of come out 7s, right? More than I probably should have had on the come out 7. But that's the actual numbers, right? I'm hitting these a little bit less than I ought to. So if I didn't have the pass line, it's an $8,000 loss versus a $69,000 loss. Now we can change numbers all day long. We can make this again 5, 10, 5, $20 pass line, $20 pass line, and start changing our probabilities a little bit. And I can give you the spreadsheet if you want it, but this kind of shows you, I think, what it can look like if you're not getting it the way that you ought to. And I think logging real rolls is an important thing. If you're going to log real rolls, this is what you log: come out 7s, come out horns, points made, points missed, and what you hit. The other box numbers don't matter. All right. So I think finding a way to play the ATS, if you're going to look at this the way that I think we should look at this, is twofold. One, if you're forced to play the pass line, what's the optimal way to play the pass line? What's the best way to play the horns? And what's the best way to play the ATS itself? Should the middle, the all, be the bigger one? Actually, I had this wrong. It should be 5, 5, 5, 10, is the number, right? Should they all be the biggest, or should you pick an end? 10, 5, 5. Make an end the biggest. 5, 10, 5. Right? Which one should you optimize for? That's an interesting point to look at, right? Also interesting to look at, like I said, is the pass line itself. Should it be equal to here or more than what you're playing up top? If you're at 555 and you're at a $25 pass line, right? You can optimize some wins up in here and lessen some of the loss down here potentially, right? By getting this and playing the pass line as a little bit of a parlay. Let's go back down to my table and let's take a look at a couple of things while we're on the top. I'm going to move stuff out the way here and get us a different view of the system. Let's come to the table. Can you see the table? There we go. Let's get it so we can fit it on screen. Now, one thing I've thought about a lot is the way that people attack this. Because if you're going to attack the ATS, let's get some chips out here, right? If you're going to attack it, let's say you're really going to, we can use 5s or 20. It doesn't matter what number we use. Let's put the ATS bets up here, over here. Can you see them? 1, 2, 3. We'll make that our ATS bet. Okay, 5, 5, 5. If you're going to do a 5, 5, 5, I think it's folly to do a $15 pass line. That's hurtful, right? The exact, I think is going to hurt you. We saw that in the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet shows me that if I do this over time, this tie makes it worse for me. I would rather be here a little bit more on the pass line so that when the come out sevens happen and I get paid 5 quarters, right? Or 5 nickels, and I lose my pass line or my ATS and I put it back, I have a little bit of dough. Matter of fact, I probably stack the dough, right? So that my next win looks like this. Lose the ATS, put the ATS back, and now I've got $30 in profit. That $30 represents 2 more cracks at it, right? Working the pass line in such a way that you can pay for subsequent tries up here on the ATS might make more sense, okay? Also, I know that guys do this too, is making the horn a part of your game, right? Again, $15 up here, at the very least, a 3-way craps, right? Even in any craps at 7 to 1, $21 versus 15 is better. I don't mind this at all because $21 and let's say you got my quarter down here. It doesn't quite cover the quarter, but when a horn number is thrown on the come out and you set an ATS number, you're getting this knocked out. Bummer, you lose $4. But one of your hard numbers to hit, one of the ends, 2, 3, 11, 12, maybe gets taken down on the ATS, and this you're getting paid as you're getting that set. Not a terrible thing. I'd probably play a 3-way craps on that. I've already got the 11 here. I'd probably play a 3-way craps where they get paid a little bit more on the end numbers, right? That's a way to attack this thing. And again, if you're going to play it. If you're going to do this kind of thing, do this kind of thing. A $6 3-way craps pays a little bit better, right? I'll give up the $6 here to get a win on a crap number when it comes out. And again, if I'm going to press this up, right? If I'm going to take that win and make it look like 35 on the next roll, then this is really okay with me. I'm totally fine with this. Finding a come out path that makes sense for the ATS and let it get set. Now, if you catch a point with my big puck, that's so ridiculous, right? If I catch a point, right? A lot of guys do this. I'm going to show you something fun. A lot of guys talk about getting out of the hand, right? I have to put it over here so you can see it without the glare. A lot of guys are looking to get out of the hand. Okay, now here we're not. Okay, here let's say you get a point. We've lost $6. Let's just do this. You got a $25 bet on the pass line, right? So you're out 6. You got 25 at risk. That's 31, and you got $46 at risk for this play, right? Getting quote unquote out of the hand usually means betting inside or betting across, doing some shit so you can pay for your box numbers, right? I would say to you, you got to get 25, 31, 41, $46 off of this table and then stop playing, right? Have a little system up here that makes you $46, whatever that looks like to you, whether that's a quick Dallas drawdown or a quick duck and cover or whatever it's going to be up top. Make your $45 and boogie, right? A skill 66 wins $50. We all know this, right? The 66 inside, right? Now, again, this is not for the faint of heart, but this move, 66, that pays $21, and you drop the buck to go to 88 inside. When this move works, the net profit is $50. 66 to 88, take your hit and stop playing. That pays for everything. Let the ATS run its course, right? Find a way to pay for it and not worry about the rest of it, right? If you're going to really, really just make this be your entire game, play in a way that makes that covered. Not the worst thing in the world if you're going to literally focus on only that. Getting out of the hand doesn't have to mean getting out of hand and playing up here. It can be getting out of the hand and letting your ATS ride. Not playing the line, putting a $15 ATS up there, going 44 inside, taking one hit, which is $14, and letting it ride itself out, bleed out the dollar, right? If you approach it in an intelligent way, semi-intelligent way, of finding ways to not get destroyed when it happens or when it doesn't happen, you might have a shot of making those 150 and 175 hits, potentially. Okay, let's go back to the browser screen again. So again, I would say this to you too. Hunt this down for sure. Hunt down the 175 to 1 tables, because I'll tell you what, if this is 30, 30, and 150, right? You'll never climb out of it. The house edge on those, look at that. It doubled up my loss to $2,000. It doubles my loss. It was 1,000 when it was 175. Look at that. If I go back to 35, 35, and 175, it's $1,000 expected loss. If I go to 30, 30, and 150, it's a $2,300 expected loss on the averages, on the average number of wins. Isn't that insanity? Isn't that insanity? That's what the pay table does to you. The 150 pay table does that to you. It more than doubles your expected loss when you're not playing the pass line. If you're playing the pass line, your loss, let's look at the pass line. So 35, 35, and 175, you're expected to lose $3,500. If we go to 30, 30, and 150, you're expected to lose $4,800. Is that right? 48 versus 35, 35, and 175. Actually, well, that's funny. It's not that much different. Why is that? Isn't that weird? Because the pass line. That's why. Because the pass line makes it different. That's super interesting. I would definitely say I should put this in bold, right? Hunt down the 175 table. That's such a big deal. That 20% house edge is crazy town. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to here. Let's go back to me right. Okay, there it is. So that's your ATS. Again, I don't think you should try and play this thing as your sole way of playing, although I know people do. Skill, great. I can put a DP in there instead of the pass line for sure. It changes everything. I mean, it changes all the numbers because the come outs become different for you. And the horns, I got to refactor the horn numbers. Let me go back and show you what I'm talking about. If we do the don't pass, I should make a new column here for a don't pass. Good call. Because the don't pass, obviously the come out sevens are losers. They're actually double losers. If you're playing the ATS with the don't pass, the come outs become double losers because you're losing on the don't pass and the ATS. So this number goes to 5,000, right? The come out horns become winners for you, but not all of them because the 12s don't win, right? Your points made become losers for you. The points missed become winners for you. So there's going to be a little bit of a dredge in here. I think it's going to be worse if you just do the don't pass. I think the come outs, especially if they require a line bet, if they require it, I think it becomes worse. I'll do that though. I will do that skill. And maybe I'll represent that tomorrow. That was a kind of a miss today by not having that. I should do that. Good call. Thank you. Let's go back here again. Yeah, good. That was a miss by me. So good call. But I think it ends up being worse because the come out sevens end up hurting you way more than the points missed, which is unfortunate. All right, I see some of this. Nobody ever played the ATS And I'll see some people that say you only ever should play the ATS. What's funny about that, right? You'll have people that live on both sides of that it's the only way to play, only way to make big money. And I know people who do bet 100 ATSs, right? Or 25, 25, 25. And then they'll take that win, right? And use that win and only play 100 until that goes away. Like, that's an interesting strategy, I guess, if you're hitting it. And if you got a private table in your team and you control the conditions, maybe there's some there. But for the average person on an average table that pays 150 to 1 at a place that requires the pass line, and you're bumping out 555 on every single person at the table, you're going to get killed. And not by a little bit of money. That 1,000 shooters is not a lot of shooters, frankly. You're going to bleed out $1,000 to $4,000 just on the ATS. Just on that, not including everything else that's going wrong for you. So I think just be careful with it is the thing. Be careful with it. The guy who invented that, it's a genius move. The casinos, that's the kind of thing that keeps the craps table going, if you think about it, right? The craps table, I think I gave this to you before. A full blackjack table, David told me this, that one of the GMs said this. A full blackjack table, full of players at a $10 game with one dealer loses $85 an hour, right? Because of costs, because of, capital costs of running a casino. That table's a loser with one dealer, and a full $10 game loses $85 an hour. Go to craps. Go to craps now. Take that same, now you got a full craps table and 4 dealers, right? Dealer, stickman, dealer, stickman box. 4 people running that game. There's actually a 5 or 6 person crew because of the breaks. That table's losing markedly more per hour, potentially. But why doesn't it? ATS, bonus bets. That thing feeds that table. We are just feeding the beast. So be careful with it. Find a way to play it. And I'm challenging my friend 10 Ton, because he's an ATS hunter, but he's got a really specific way that he hunts down the ATS. His come out play is like not what I'm showing here, but similar, is a way to hunt down the ATS and play in a way that pays for that bet, so that bet is always active and always almost paid for, like a free lottery ticket. That's how he looks at it. It's a free lottery ticket, but you got to play it and attack it in such a way that it is. Otherwise, you're just doing this, and I hate to see you do that. All right. George specializes in the ATS. Well, again, if that's your game, that's your game. And I think, I don't know. Some of I've had some pretty good ATS wins too. I'm not going to lie. I've had some good ones, right? And it's cool when that happens. But you walk away from the table saying, man, I bought them for whatever, hit an ATS, and I won a couple $1,000 and you feel like a champion, but it was literally a lottery ticket. You did nothing to kind of earn that, right? It's a lottery ticket. It's a weird, like survivor's guilt kind of feeling that I get when I do that. I don't know. That's just a John thing, I guess. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Let's have I got to get to work. So let me finish you up. We've done kind of some Q&A here. I would love to know though, right? A one topic day like this, and again, probably a little long because it is the ATS, but a one topic little segment every day on the ABCs of something. If I can make that be 8 minutes long or 5 minutes long, and do that plus a quick fact or fiction in with it, would you like that? Or do you like it better when it's a longer day? That's what I want to know. Do you want like longer segments like this one was, or short, and go, ABCs, fact or fiction, blah, 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 and have like a nice organized walkthrough segmented kind of a show? You tell me what you want. Again, it's your show, not mine. So I'm out of here. Have a good day, everybody. God bless y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. I forget what tomorrow's show's about. I think tomorrow's a fact or fiction day. So we'll see how this week goes. But again, feedback. Let me know what you think, what you like. And I'll start structuring the days to kind of match how we're feeling. All right. Love y'all. God bless. Later.